Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brothers. Strange things do happen in this world. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am a man who is aged 31 years old. And me and my wife, we recently lost our child that we had together. And it pains me a lot because at the place where we went to, we were told that my brother, he had this other traditional healer of his where he went to. And when he visited this traditional healer, he was then told that he had to use me. He had to find a way to use me so that he can be making a lot of money. And he was told that the body of my child that my wife was going to give birth to, the body of my child was going to be used so that it can become a tokology. And this is what happened. I fell into my brother's trap. Me and my brother, we come from an area in Shamva, in a place that is called Chakonda. So we came to Beitbridge. When we came to Beitbridge, it was per my brother's instruction. He was the one who told me that I was doing nothing back in our village. So I needed to come to Beitbridge so that I can start to work. As for my brother, he is this clearing agent. You know, there in Musina, you can buy a car from the South African side. So you need someone, a clearing agent, who can clear that vehicle. Then you'll be able to pass with it from South Africa, going back to Zim with your new vehicle that you would have bought in South Africa. So this is what my brother was doing. When I came to Beitbridge, I cannot say that my brother was rich. Things were really tough for him, and he was just having money so that he can feed his family. And when I started working with my brother started to give me a lot of pressure. He kept on telling me that I needed to get married. I needed to find a wife. The pressure was just too much until I eventually gave in. The woman that I got married to is a Venda-speaking woman who is a local Beitbridge woman born in Beitbridge as well. I eventually fell in love with him, and when I fell in love with him, then I fell in love with her, and then I found out that she had fallen pregnant. And by the time that she gave birth, my brother's wife, she was really happy. And she said that she wanted to hold a welcoming party. But what surprised me is that when we went to this baby welcoming party, the money that they had used on that party, it was just too much, about $2,000 that we got. And on top of that, my brother, he then bought a new vehicle for me, a Honda Fit. That was the car that he bought for me. And I thought that this gift, with the way that my brother was like struggling financially, he was not making a lot of profit, yet he was helping a lot of clients. So I could not understand how he had managed to raise so much money. But anyway, we accepted this gift. And after we had accepted this gift, after about a month, that was when my baby started to go sick. The baby got so sick out of nowhere. Then in the evening, the baby could not breathe anymore. He was struggling to breathe until the baby passed away. When the baby had passed away, that was when the funeral was held. And after that, my brother said, we need to go around so that we can ask what exactly is going on, because we need to know what killed my little brother's child. So it was me, my brother, his wife, and my wife. It was the four of us. We then got into his car. Then we started traveling around looking for a prophet who could assist us. So in Lutumba, in an area in Lutumba, in Beitbridge, there is this other red garment prophet. So we went to his house. When we went to that house, this man then ran to where we had our car parked. And he started to speak with us as if he was possessed by the spirit of the tokology that had been created by my grandfather. So I really got confused, because when we were growing up, we had this issue that our grandfather, he was a ritualist. So when this prophet told us that this tokoloshi that was in the family, it was about to die, but when my wife gave birth, it then saw an opportunity to revive itself using the blood of my baby. So it had slaughtered my baby, and it had actually drank that blood. So now it was alive and well, and it was ready to do its job again. This man told us a lot of stuff. This man then told us that all that was needed to be done was that since my child had been buried in Beitbridge, I needed to return with him back to Shamba, where I grew up, where the grave of my father is and where the grave of my grandfather is. So I asked this prophet what was supposed to happen. The prophet said, I want you to go to any tree, and I want you to take a small branch from that tree and go and place it on top of your child's grave. That was what we did. We then went, me and my wife, and we placed that tree branch that was mixed with some traditional herbs, and I could not even understand how was it even possible that a prophet, a so-called prophet of God, can be using traditional herbs. But I just said, maybe I am young, I do not understand anything. We then took that branch of that tree and we traveled all the way, returning back to our village. When we arrived in the village, what surprised me was that the way that we buried this tree branch that had once, the way that we buried this tree branch, and it was just really. But what surprised me is that by the time that we arrived in our village, we were then taken to this other river, and by the side of the river, a grave was dug, and we were told that we had to bury this tree branch that we had traveled with all the way from Beitbridge, returning back to our village. We were told that we had to treat this tree branch as if it was my child. So me and my wife, we were then taken to the place where we had buried this tree branch close to the river, and we were told that we had to kneel down. So as I was kneeling down, that was when my brother came, and he was holding this other red rope, and he tied that red rope around my waist, and then he also did the same thing to my wife. My wife was also kneeling down. My brother came and he also tied that red rope around her waist. It was really suspicious the way that they made us to do all of these things. I was then given this other clay plate. So when I looked at this clay plate, I saw that inside this clay plate, the way that it was designed, it had 7 stars that was inside this clay plate. So I was told that I had to place this clay plate that had the symbols of 7 stars on top of my head. And then from there on, we were told that we both had to pick up the river sand that was close to the place where we had buried the spirit of my child. And after we had picked up the river sand, we were told that we had to wash ourselves with this river sand for 3 days. After that, that was when we returned back to Beitbridge. When we returned to Beitbridge, my brother, that was when I saw that my wife, she was struggling to conceive again after 2 years. Then I saw that the problems were never going away. Each and every time when I would try to sleep with my wife, I would feel so much pain on my back area. Even when I sleep with my wife, she will also complain, and she will say that her womb, her uterus will be so painful, and the way that she goes on her periods, it is really painful, such that you can see that this woman, it is going to be very impossible for her to conceive again. So we then went to this other prophet after me and my wife had seen that we can't have a child anymore, and because of those rituals that my brother made me to do and my wife. When we went to that prophet, the prophet said that, I feel so sorry for you. And I said, why do you feel sorry for me? He said that I can see that the rituals that your brother made you to do, as for now, you are someone that is like a ritualist. Even if you go anyway, they will accuse you and they will say that you are into these money-making rituals, yet you are going to be poor for the rest of your life, because your brother, he used your own child, and his child and your child's spirit will be fighting against you this child of yours that your wife gave birth to, she is now like a tokoloshi that your brother and his wife, they are using your child so that they can make all the money that they are making. And when they tied your waist with that red rope, they were making sure that you will never be able to conceive again. So it seems that from this oath to be broken, I have to conceive, but I can't conceive because they tied me with that red rope around my waist. I have gone around my brother, but I do not know who can help me. As for that prophet, he said, for now, do not attempt to visit any traditional healer, because if you try to do that, I know that your brother is going to send the spirit of your own child, so that the spirit of your child can attack you. So this prophet said, for now, just wait. Let us wait and see. Let us just wait and see what your brother is planning. So I am stuck. I'm still waiting for this prophet to call me back to his homestead so that we can get this thing sorted out. This is my own story, Brother Nashi. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear brother, and that was the narration of his own story. Just imagine using your own brother and using your little brother's child so that you can create your own tokoloshi, or to wake up the spirit of the tokoloshi that was created by your grandfather so that you can start to make a lot of money. Will you ever do that against your own blood brother, either your elder brother or your little brother? Strange things do happen in this world. And I think that, let's say, if there is a funeral that has happened, or if there is a person that has died in the family, if you see people like trying to push you so that you can do some things that you do not understand, it is far much better that you refuse. Because our dear brother is saying that he was told that they had to carry the spirit of his child from Beitbridge, returning back to their village. And when they arrived at the village, he was taken to the river, where he was told that he had to kneel down and he had to place this clay plate that had symbols of 7 stars inside that clay plate. And then they tied his waist with a red rope. Strange things do happen in this world. So maybe this was a curse that they were placing on him. And African magic. Some things that happen in this world, they are just strange. Strange things do happen in this world. But if you feel that the things that your relatives want you to do, you do not feel comfortable doing them, please refuse, because sometimes they will place curses on your life without you even realizing that this is what is happening.